Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live, Laugh, Larry. It's the show where we can all get advice from my dad, Larry. Also, my name's McCary. I was just thinking how we were talking with Mom earlier about Instagram because Mom runs the Live, Laugh, Larry Instagram account. How would you say she's doing, Dad?
She's taking it very seriously.
She's taking it very seriously.
I think she's having fun. She's stressing over it more than she should, though.
Yeah, I think she's doing really great, and it's fun. I've had a couple where I'm like, Mom, I would never say that. Please take it down. So if anyone has noticed some funny happenings going on in the Live, Laugh, Larry account, it's because Mom and I are figuring out how to manage it. But I was like, hey, can you just say this word for word? And I did quotation mark, Dad dropping off a book at a book fair or whatever, end quote. And I sent that to Mom to say, and I look on Instagram the next day and the post is quotation, Dad dropping off a book at a book fair, end quote. I was like, you can leave the quotes out. So I also thought it'd be fun to play a little game.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to change things up. I'm trying new segments.
We're in a rut, you mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to dig us out of a hole.
Okay.
No, I just thought this would be a fun thing to do together.
Okay, games are good.
Yeah, games are good. This one's called the Millennial Slang Game.
Okay.
I'm not actually a millennial. I think I'm right on the cusp. I'm actually a Gen Z, but I figured the game could be I say a word that millennials say, and you explain what it is.
As a blatant boomer.
First word, bay.
Bay?
Mm-hmm.
Bay is like baby.
Hey, nice. Good one.
Current.
You're current.
I'm a cool dad.
Shook.
Well, it used to be like they were upset.
Yeah. It used to be, really? That's an old term?
Shook.
Oh, yeah.
All shook up. I mean, that's an Elvis song.
Yeah,
I'm all shook up.
Well,
yeah.
I guess it actually applies to millennial and actual the
it's
English
been
dictionary.
For a while. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even realize millennials kind of stole that. I think the way that we say it now, or millennials, not me, but it's like, oh, he's shook. It's not you're all shook up. It's just he's shook.
You just took off the up.
Yeah, we just took off the up.
Okay, well, that's good to be more efficient. Good for you guys.
On fleek.
On fleek. On fleek. I don't know. It sounds like you have something on the end of your finger that you're trying to get off.
Flick.
It's
on
fleek.
flick.
Fleek it off. No, I have no idea on fleek. What is that?
Well, Dad, today your outfit is on fleek.
Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's good.
Oh, it's good.
Salty.
It's forthright and sharp. You know, it's to the point, and sometimes I would consider it to maybe be a little bit like either defensive or offensive.
If you're being a dink, you're being salty.
Okay.
Or like if you're offended and pouting about it, you're salty.
Oh, okay.
That's how I use it anyway.
All right. I don't know if I've ever been salty. Just saying, so that's probably why I don't know that saying.
Yeah, you're the salt king. Slay.
You slay the dragon, you get the job done.
Uh-huh.
I can only imagine it means to get the job done.
Slay.
Slay, yeah. That's makes sense to me.
Yeah, kind of. I think it's another one where it's like you have a nice outfit. Slay. So it's like you got the job done.
People actually would say that?
People say that.
Oh, my.
Slay king. Okay, last one. Chuggy.
Chuggy? Once again, my first thought is like that fleek thing. It almost has a snot reference. a chuggy.
Bless you.
Yeah, no, that one I totally don't have a clue.
I think actually Gen Z uses it to describe millennials. Like they're cringy and not cool. They're chuggy.
Oh, really? It's too bad generations have to refer to each other as that.
Like be mean to each other.
Yeah. To lump anyone all into the same category, especially the negative connotations, is probably unfair.
Yeah. Stop calling people chuggy. PSA from Larry Espy.
Yeah. Well, stop saying, don't say mean things to people. I think that's pretty simple advice.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
No.
Fair. Yeah. All right. Well, this will really test your memory. Can you use a sentence or like try saying a sentence with the words that we just used? Not all of them, but you can pick your favorite.
Oh, well, I think I'll slay at this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a chuggy about it. And I'm so glad that I'm in fleek today for this little speech I'm about to make. Oh, yeah, and because I don't want to be shook.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly don't want to speak saltily to you. That's a form of salty. And bay.
You literally just said the words.
Well,
That was really good.
Yeah.
Okay, Boomer. That was really good.
Go. That's not bad.
Awesome. Good game.
I should have had. No, this would have been bad. I should have had my hat on backwards for that.
Oh yeah. Do you want to try it again?
No.
Are you sure?
See my bald spot. I'm balding a bit.
The bald spot.
I'm balding a little bit.
Yeah. How'd you lose your hair?
Playing hockey without a helmet.
Mm-hmm. How's that?
Well, I was skating too quickly, and then I actually played a year of defense, so it came off the back as well. Skating backwards too quickly. You
skated your hair off. You just went too. Yeah, you're too speedy.
It was. It's one of those things.
Yeah, it happens.
Going into the corners very quickly.
Yeah. Just being too good.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Yeah, too fast. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily too good.
Mm-hmm. Just too fast.
I was good.
He was out of control.
I was good, just not too good.
Yeah.
Just too fast. Too fast for my hair.
Yeah. Sad. Mm-hmm. What was the other joke? You say it, maybe it'll come back around. Because
if I live long enough, because I do have hair elsewhere on my body.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I won't go into it.
No, explain that you mean your back and your chest. Maybe not.
Well, pretty much everywhere else.
Okay, fine.
Other than the palms of my hands. But no, my theory was that if I lived long enough, my hair would shift back around and come back up the front and over the top. And other than some awkward and maybe itchy periods, it would come around.
Yeah, it'll.
I also have one other theory about the baldness is it's like your favorite hockey number. We all arm wrestle or draw straws to see who gets to wear their favorite number on their back, and then you're the only person in the rink who can't see the number. So if you have a favorite number, you should let somebody else wear it. And it's the same thing with hair. I should just visit with, if I like hair so much, I just visit with friends who have a full head of hair, because they're looking back at bald, I'm looking at hair.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
It's an upbeat way to think about it.
Yeah, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yeah.
All right, Dad. Well, moving on to something that we have done on previous episodes, it's now time for you to prove that you're my dad. Do you have a story?
I think my favorite stories were reading to you when you were little. Mm-hmm. And, I read starting, with the little picture books and stuff. But I specifically remember when we switched to chapter books. You called them chapter books. Mm-hmm. And they were books, and they had the odd picture every several pages. So you're a little older by then. And I found this series. It was called Measle and the Wrath Monk. And I would read them, and I would try and say all the voices with the accents. And the one guy had a S, he overpronounced his S. Iggy pronounces S's. And I think the best part was your belly laugh, when you would laugh, or when I would look over at you, and there'd be kind of some scary parts, and you're staring at the ceiling, and I knew you were deep in thought. And I have to admit, without getting sappy, the night that you decided you could read for yourself, I remember thinking, "Whoa, that's cool. I can maybe go and watch some TV or do something that I didn't do at that time normally." And then I realized, that was a really big part of my day. And with a busy life I had, I didn't realize how special that part of my day was. So, reading those books to you and all the other ones we did, like, what was it, Inkheart, and there were quite a few. You weren't into Harry Potter. You weren't ready for Harry Potter.
No.
You thought that was maybe a little... But
Voldemort scared the ever-living.
But we read everything up to that, and I read you some stories that I'd read when I was a teacher.
The tripod one.
The tripods.
What's it called?
White Mountains.
White Mountains. That was good.
You look up that. That's kind of a series as well. I read that to my classes when I was teaching elementary, well before you were born.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, those were special times. Oh, and the other thing is, if you wanted another chapter, because it was a good book, and you'd want another chapter, and I'd be looking at my watch, and you'd say, "One more," and then I'd say, "No, that's enough for tonight." And you hate my life. That was your line to tell me how evil I was for not reading another
I hate
chapter.
my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah. I used to be very dramatic. I'm not dramatic anymore.
Yeah, you were dramatic with those furrowed brow.
Fair. Good one. All right. Well, I believe that you're my dad, so I hope everybody else does. So I think now with that, it's time to hear our first question. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. This one is kind of funny.
Hey, Larry, long-time listener, first-time caller. I have a little fatherly scenario for you, and I want to see if it's relatable at all. When I was like 14, my family was at our cabin, and we had bought an ATV for my grandpa. So, of course, me and my dad had to go crazy driving around all day. We had the best time, and when the day was done, we were wrapping it up, parking it back in the garage. And unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time. My dad crashes into my leg that proceeds to break it. So, as you can imagine, the family strife created by the incident lasts to this day, and I still absolutely mercilessly tease my dad about that time when he ran me over, breaking my leg. So, two
Poor
questions based
dad.
on that anecdote. Number one, what's the biggest mistake you've made in your fatherly career? And number two, what's the statute of limitations for teasing your parent about said incident? Looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Oh my. I'll tell you, sorry about your leg, and I'm really sorry for your dad. My gosh, what a burden to bear. He must have just felt awful. I can't imagine. I remember slamming my older daughter's fingers in the car door one
Oh,
time,
yeah.
and
Well, she was being really rude. You had to reprimand her. So
no, I didn't. I didn't do it repeatedly. It was just the once, and it was
she
an
learned
accident.
after the first one.
Yeah, she stopped right away. But no, I can't imagine that. And the statute of limitations for teasing, I hope that he's desensitized a little bit, but I'm sure it was sensitive for the first while. And what was the first part of the question was?
What's the worst thing?
Oh, the worst thing that I did.
Yeah.
Oh my! I in terms of hurting my children.
Sure.
Oh, I slammed my older daughter's fingers in the car door, and that I felt really bad. And even though I don't think it was actually, I was just there, and somehow it happened.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't really think I'm trying to think if I really
Maimed any of your
wounded
children?
anyone else bad, other than
Did you
maybe.
drop any babies?
No, I never did. I never dropped any babies. Other than that time on your head. No, no, I never.
You said, because my head was the same size as it is now as a kid. I just grew into my head.
Yeah.
But you always said that I'd be running and just tip over from the weight of it, and that explains my.
I never said. See, that's the thing. In terms of hurting my children physically, I quite possibly hurt them psychologically. And I laugh, but I think sometimes, without meaning to, you can say things that are hurtful. I know my son was playing hockey, and he's a good hockey player. And this one particular game, he took what I would have called as a fan, and I didn't say anything as a fan. I was quiet in the stands. He took what I would consider 3 or 4 fairly silly penalties.
Like he shouldn't have got them?
He shouldn't have. Well, yeah, the referee called the right call. He was in, whether it was the mood he was in or he just thought it would be a way to be noticed, I don't know. But he took some penalties that he didn't need to take, and he wasn't that kind of player. And so after the game, we're driving home, and I can remember him. He made the mistake of asking me. He said, "So, Dad, what did you think?" And I said, "Well," and I've always felt badly about this. I said, I'm not sure if I'd have let you back on the ice after the second penalty you took.
Ooh,
if I was your coach.
Them theirs are fighting words.
Yeah, and I know it hurt his feelings. And then we talked it through, and I just said, I hope he doesn't remember it. And I thought about it right away. I thought I wouldn't want my dad to have said that to me.
Yeah.
But
well, it's really too bad because you and him haven't talked since, and that was like
25
years ago.
He's never spoken to me again. No. Actually, speaking to dads and talks, I was playing, we're digressing here.
That's fine.
My dad was an amazing guy, and he came up to where I was living and playing, and I was an adult. I was in my early 20s, and I got a penalty. I didn't get many, but I got a penalty. I didn't think it should have been called, and I don't know if I was frustrated by the game, but I started haranguing the referee a little bit to the point where I got a misconduct, and I swore, and I put on quite a tantrum, not something I'd ever done. I think I'd never had a misconduct before or after, for just unsportsmanlike conduct. And we got on the bus afterwards, and we were riding back to our hometown, and Dad's sitting beside me, and of course it's a senior team, so the beer gets passed around, and Dad and I open a beer, and so he kind of looks at me. He said, well, that was quite a show, wasn't it? And I said, yeah, I'm not very proud of that. And he clinked my beer bottle, and we had a sip, and that was all that was said. But I was glad he acknowledged that. You know, I'd embarrassed him. You know, and he knew I was capable of better than that. And
not mad, just disappointed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think something that you did that hurt me was you put a helmet on my head and you clipped my chin.
Oh, yeah. Well, the helmet was too small. Oh, yeah, those
Big
ones.
head problems.
Those ones, and I know it doesn't, it's not the same as breaking someone's leg with a motorcycle, but
quad.
But it's awful when you zip your kid's chin into, the zipper of their coat, or the clip on their helmet, or the seat belt.
And why were you smiling?
Well,
but going all the way back to the question, broken leg, that super sucks. The worst thing you've ever done, Dad, was clip our necks into helmets,
and
slam our sister's finger in the door.
And then psychologically scarred all three of you at different times with mean-spirited comments that I didn't realize were mean-spirited.
Yeah, fair. And how long can we ridicule? How long can we ridicule you for our traumas?
I think that's the statute of limitations question. I think you have to determine just how sensitive your parent is, because someone like me, I'm very sensitive.
Oh no!
So I think that should be the statute of limitations should be extended to, you can't tease them ever. No, I think that if it's all in fun, once you're over the initial trauma, there's humor. I think, what was your line the other day?
Tragedy is comedy. No, comedy is tragedy plus time.
Yeah. So that's way, a lot of things that are either painful or hurtful, whether it's bodily or financially or mentally. Over time, you can laugh them off. Not everything, obviously. Yeah. I don't think I have to explain that there are things that don't qualify, but
yeah.
As long as your leg's healed up and you're, I'm assuming your leg is fine. Like I hope you're not still limping all these years later.
Yeah. Well, I did follow up and I was like, well, like, why didn't your dad stop? Like, I just feel like that's such a wild, but I guess his dad, he mistook the brake for the gas.
Oh.
And so he just slammed harder on the gas.
Oh man.
And there goes
that would
the
be,
leg.
as a dad, I would just, know what he shook. He would have been shook.
He would have been shook.
Yeah, he's probably still shook.
And the son would have been salty.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right, good answer, Dad. 10 out of 10.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, now it's time for our next question. And this one is from Elena.
Hello there. So this is Elena from Turkey. I have been really enjoying the content that you put on the internet, let's say, and I am thankful about it. So my question is, slash problem, of course, that I don't feel good enough about anything, let's say. For instance, I just graduated from college last year and I just turned 26 this year, and my major was English language teaching, but I don't see myself as a teacher. So this makes me feel like I'm not good enough / qualified for this job. But yeah, my question to you is, how would you deal with the sense of feeling not good enough or feeling not competent enough for a job or about anything, basically? And lots of love from Turkey.
Elena, thanks so much for the question. That's a tough one. I think you said there that your training is as an English language teacher, and I think when it comes, I worked with a lot of teachers. I was a teacher, and then I worked with a lot of teachers in other capacities for most of my career, and I think that sometimes people are fearful that teaching is all about the content. It's all about the subject. You have to have everything memorized. You have to know whether it's math or science or English, that it's the content. And I would say that it's about your personality and how you can deal with children and how you treat them and how you make them feel. Because if they don't like you, it makes it harder for them to learn from you. So I think just listening to you, someone who is reflective as you are, and as thoughtful as you are, if you spent that time getting to know your students, I've always said that the first thing a teacher should do when they go into a classroom on day one is take the time to learn every kid's name. Mm-hmm. If it takes the whole block, and if it means going one on one and saying their name back and forth to them until you've got it, and then going around the room again. And I don't mean just one class. I mean, this is even with teachers, high school teachers who have, several classes over a day. That can be done, and it should be a priority. And to get to know them and let them get to know you, and let them get to know your obvious your obvious genuineness and your honesty about, you're not sure if you're, this is, you don't know everything there is to know about teaching the English language. Well, let's learn it together. Mm-hmm. And create a classroom that you're learning from one another. And I think the content will come, and it'll come together depending on the age level you're teaching it. It's going to be a little different, but I wouldn't give up on yourself, and I wouldn't waste that degree until you've given it a good college try. And I've said before that it's much more important that a teacher likes kids and wants to associate with students than it is that they know copious amounts of content. Mm-hmm. Because the content can come. It's everywhere. The content's on the internet. It's in textbooks. It's all over the place. So, no teacher can expect to know all the content before they start teaching. You sometimes you learn it with the students.
Mm-hmm. You learn as you go. What would you say to someone who, because I could see how if we were having a conversation with more people, and maybe it wasn't just the two of us in this room, but what would you say to someone who's like, well, you need to assert your dominance, like don't let the kids see weakness? Did you ever come across teachers that were like that?
Oh yeah, there's still people that say don't let them see you smile to Christmas. I don't buy into that.
Don't let them see you smile until Christmas.
Don't smile to Christmas, that way they'll you stay in charge. I don't buy into that adage, and yet I know there are people that would still advise that, and that's traditional. It's a little bit old school, and there would be people that would disagree with me, but I didn't operate that way. I mean, if you, like I said, you set the curriculum aside when you first meet your class or classes in the new year. Set that aside until you get to know the kids a little bit and let them get to know you. It can be done. We've seen it. And whether you do it individually with your own class, or you are part of a school that establishes that culture, and I hope you get to teach at a school like that someday.
Mm-hmm. And the question about it kind of feels it revolves around imposter syndrome as well, type of thing. And I think I'm really fortunate to have worked in tech previously, and just going into that job, in a lot of those jobs, and thinking, oh my God, I know nothing. I'm just out of university, which there's a healthy dose of that, is, you want to keep an open mind. And obviously you didn't learn everything you'll ever need to know after going to university. But I remember going into my first jobs in tech and really being hard on myself, thinking everyone was smarter than me, and really impressed by the people who could talk so confidently for so long. And eventually you kind of start to notice that not everybody, obviously, but there's some people who just say things confidently. I'm treading lightly because I don't want to be rude, but just some people are really confident. Yeah, well, and not everyone knows what they're doing.
No, and to me, it's like the country bumpkin complex. You feel like for example, I'll use myself as I'm a principal, but I'm in a small northern district. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I could be a principal in the lower, in the big city. Mm-hmm. And then the more as your experience takes you there, or you meet people, and you realize that maybe because you're trying hard not to be a country bumpkin or the guy from the little place, you've actually done some things that they haven't seen before in the big city. And so I think there's the big city folks, they've got their levels. They're wondering that they're not as good as this, or that they're not able. And so I think, in terms of confidence, Elena, it's you have to just stick it out there, give it a try, and if you like it, and if your aspiration is to be the best teacher of the English language, just stick your foot in the door and give it a try. Get to know your students and go for it.
I think we'll do one more question, but this one's just an email, no video or no audio, from Bridget, and it's, what's your favorite dad joke?
My favorite dad joke, I'm not sure if it's my kids' ones. The one that I've told the most is about the time I had a dream.
Oh, God.
That I ate 2 huge marshmallows.
Uh-huh.
And I woke up and both my pillows were gone. I think that's a good joke.
All right, well, good one. Okay, so now it's time for the final segment. It used to be What the Heck Is Your Problem, but I felt like that was too negative. So now I'm calling it Larry Loves. Plus, things that McCary likes too. What do you love lately, Dad?
Okay. I love John Prine songs.
Mm-hmm.
His lyrics are so brilliant. He's such a poet. A little Bob Dylan-ish, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But I love John Prine. So I like everything about listening to the music. I love everything about trying to sing it and play it. And I love his quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got, a question isn't really a question if you know the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is an old man sleeps with his conscience, a young man sleeps with his dreams.
Mm.
They're just deep. They're just thoughtful, and they make you think.
I like the line where he said, you have to fix me, but when he comes home with nothing to say. What's that line?
Oh, yeah. He says, how the heck can, it's from Angel from Montgomery, how the heck can a person go to work in the morning and come home in the evening with nothing to say?
Yeah.
He's just, there's quite a few. He's got one like, I knew that topless lady had something up her sleeve too. He's got some really good lines.
Yeah.
But I love John Prine. What is it that you're loving these days?
I'm loving the book Demon Copperhead.
Okay, and what's that all about?
It's really good. I didn't think I'd like it at first. If anyone has read Goldfinch, I at first thought it was kind of just the same thing as Goldfinch, just maybe not as good. That was a really hot take. I didn't mean to offend anybody, but that was like one chapter in. I was like, oh no, this feels like a knockoff Goldfinch. It's not. It's a great book, and I don't know. It's another good fiction book that teaches you empathy by learning about someone else's situation and seeing the world through their eyes, even though they're not a real person.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really good. I think you'd like it.
So you'll pass it along when you're finished.
Yeah, I'll pass it along to you when I'm finished. Yeah, it's really good. And it's already all beaten up. I got it all like beaten up and battered, so I don't feel bad holding it or opening it. So I'll hand it off to you, and you don't have to feel bad about getting it all dirty either.
Yeah. I write in books sometimes.
Don't do that.
Okay, I won't write in this book.
You know what? I love my mother, but I lent her my book, and she wrote all over the whole thing and underlined it. But it's like, when people, sometimes when they study, they don't just highlight the main word, they highlight the entire page, therefore making it redundant.
Yeah.
That the whole thing is highlighted.
You might as well highlight, dip it in pink paint. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what my mom does.
She must have liked the book then.
She really liked the book. In fact, she liked every single word in the last book that I lent her.
Oh,
so
that's good.
It was a good book. Yeah.
Awesome.
What was it? Oh, the last book was A Gentleman in Moscow, and that was part of my book club that I'm running on my YouTube channel, and The Demon Copperhead is the book club this month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gentleman in Moscow, that's a good book.
That's a good book too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we have time for. How do you think we did?
Well, I don't know. Some days I know I've said before I talk too much and talk too long, and
not in the mic.
And I don't talk in the mic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, it's just fun talking to you.
Uh-huh.
And those questions, I feel again, I feel like I don't know if we addressed anything in terms of having them go away with epiphanies and that change their life, but maybe they'll understand that we've been in the same boat sometimes, and misery loves company.
We've been in the same butt.
The same boat.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a really smart
Yeah,
sentence that you had, and I just heard.
You might want to delete that.
Yeah. We've all been in the same butt. All right. Well, to close things off, I wanted to send the two of us and whoever's listening out into the world with a task. And this week's task is to drink a fun drink outside. It can be coffee, tea, Coke, or Pepsi if you're crazy. And if you feel so inclined, please share a picture or video of you drinking that fun drink outside and tag us on Instagram at livelaughlarrypod. And what?
You put me on the spot again.
No, but you look like you want to say something.
No, I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, okay.
Team. That's what I say now when I'm stumped as a panic. Okay. Is this where I say team?
No, what I was gonna say. If you enjoyed the episode, please give us a 5-star review. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment your favorite part. Or again, just comment anything.
Yeah.
And it will really help us get this podcast off the ground. And like I always say, it'll let us know if we should keep doing this.
Yeah.
And lastly, if you're in need of some dad advice, please send in your question at either livelaughlarrypod@gmail.com or with the link in the description. I made a really cute, fun Google form to hopefully make it easier for you.
That's cool.
Yeah. And we kind of I don't want this to be a cry for help because I'm probably going to do this in a couple of the episodes, but we need more questions. So please send them in.
Yeah.
Last words, go.
Yeah. No, hey, that was fun. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Ding.
Ding.